Thank you for your response. For a moment there, I thought you may not remember me. Some people say I'm hard to remember or easy to forget, or they just pretend that they haven't met me yet. It's not like we've never met before. We've known each other for a very long time. You've known me for a very long time. Hunger. And not the light pangs of it would be nice to eat, but the deep set I have a right to be alive that the system has denied, though when I tried to climb out, the walls were too high, and when I called out for help, stigma drowned out my cry. That kind of hunger. Food insecurity. It's hard to forget me if you've met me. I kiss your kids goodnight and wake them up in the morning. I worsen their health without much warning, and when there's nothing to eat, I'm happy to provide. Just sacrifice your portion in order to give them a better life. Do your best, Mama. You do your best. Yet I still hang on your back, work 2 jobs, minimum wage, and it's gone just like that because rent is needed desperately and so is childcare. And when all of that is covered, I'm the only one still there. You do your best, and yet still I hover over you like a mighty dark cloud. So unforgettable. Do you remember me now? And what about them? Do you remember them? Those who pretend to pass judgment and they don't really understand. They could never bear to work a mile in your shoes, and yet they talk about you and pass around opinions. They're always quick to speak, but they never bother to listen. And do you remember those who made policies set up like complex traps, giving you rocks for shoes and expecting you to pick yourself up by the bootstraps, expecting you to make a life out of what was hardly a living? And anything else that wasn't covered had to be covered by the giving, only to be clawed back. Do you remember those who listened to your story and pretended to sympathize, but when it was time for them to take action, they didn't even try? And what about the people in this room? How will you remember them? Will they be voices of condemnation, or will they be pillars of strength? Will they be hearts of compassion, or will they be hearts of stone? And when it comes to it, will they stand with you, or will you stand alone? Will they leave this room brimming with bright ideas only to shelve their spoken efforts, paralyzed with fear? Because fear is the anticipation of what may happen, and I almost always do when the only thing that happens is inaction. See, what keeps me alive is keeping me a conversation, because inaction is a means to my preservation, keeping me stationed in your lives to be alive and thrive when you should. But you, all of you already knew that. But sometimes it's easy to forget that when you don't stand up and fight with the most vulnerable, I may be the only thing they have left. Thank you.